migration. Chicago would not have been what it was without the World War II migration, when millions of African Americans from the rural South dispersed throughout the North, but many settled in Chicago. And the ones situating in Chicago, they followed the route of the train from Mississippi, Arkansas, straight up into Chicago. And in fact, so many migrated from the rural South that a Pullman porter said in an interview, he said, this train coming through Mississippi to Chicago was packed with African Americans, and this went on for years and years. And he said, I just couldn't understand how there could be any black person left in the South. That's how many people migrated to Chicago. And they took with them, and the story goes on that on those trains, in the cargo section of the trains, were pianos. And the folks gathered in the back. There were so many of them. You know, black folks sat in the back of the trains anyway. They began to take over, and they had to create more space. So they put them in these open cars in the back, rolled a piano, and they partied and boogied to the blues the whole way to Chicago. So the blues entered, as Curtis Mayfield talks about in various interviews, you know, it was considered to be a blues town. But at the same time, it was also a very religious town, rich with religious music. And Chicago is considered to be the center of gospel music. So Curtis Mayfield grew up in such great musical diversity. Jazz was present, you know, a lot of jazz musicians migrated to Chicago with the first World War I, with the World War I migration. And then we get the blues evolving into rhythm and blues in the urban centers through the World War II migration. And then, of course, the religious music coming from the storefront churches in which his grandmother was a minister, and that was his real exposure. He speaks about that influence of his mother and his grandmother on his upbringing and the character and his creativity that he acquired over the years. So it's important to place him within the context of history, not only our social history, but also the musical history.